I welcome all the participants for the after 2 3 long gap 2 3 days we have arranged for the class. Okay, so we'll move on to the session. Let me share my presentation. Is the screen is visible? Okay. I think it's loading. Wait for a few 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. I think now it's visible. Okay, thank you, ma. Okay, good evening to one and all participants. Let me continue with the today's session. So today we are going to see on the 8th unit, system and server security. The topic we are going to see is physical security and cloud security. Okay. So in the last session we have seen internet security, system security. So all these we have discussed. Today we are going to see the physical security and cloud security. So the objective of today's session is to make you known about the physical security concepts and the cloud security concepts. Okay. The outcome, the students may be able to understand the concept behind the physical and cloud security. Okay. And these are the outline of today's session. So first we'll know about what is meant by physical security and why we have to go for physical security, what is the need for it. And the attackers are of two categories. One is outside the company and the other one is from within the company. Okay, and we'll be seeing what are the guidelines to be followed for restricting the personal accessing of any resources, and then we'll be seeing the guidelines for protecting the information's data and equipment access. Okay, and we'll be seeing the issues in protecting the organization assets and how to overcome all these preventive measures we'll be seeing. Then so with this we'll be winding up the physical security. Then we have to move to the next cloud security. For that we'll be dealing with the definition of cloud computing and what is meant by cloud security, and we'll be seeing the 5 essential characteristics and how we can classify the cloud computing. There are two classifications. One is service model, the other one is deployment model. Okay, and we'll be seeing the advantages and disadvantages of the cloud computing and what are the benefits of cloud computing. Then we'll wind up the session. Okay, so coming on to the physical security, it's all about giving the physical protection to any organization or concern. Okay, so what are the physical protections needed to be given to the organization? Okay, so the protection may be it protects or it may be a theft of any data or informations from the organization, or protecting from the unauthorized access of accessing the network resources, okay, and natural disasters. So from all these issues is the protection, physical protection from the to any organization, that is going to be called as the physical security. Okay. Okay, so the best example can be given for a physical security is that it can that is the identity theft, recent identity theft incident, that is the company laptop is being theft from the Department of Veterans Affairs. Okay, so what is the physical devices that is going to be theft? That is, we call that as an example for the physical security. Okay, so to avoid all these such kinds of theft, we need some security need to be provided to the organization assets. Okay, so there comes the picture emergence for the physical security. Okay, so physical security is important to implement the physical access control program in a company or any organization. Okay, and what is the need for physical security is that the damages that caused due to the natural disasters or human threats like hacking of any informations or using the malicious codes. Okay, social engineering and defense in depth. That is, defense in depth means we can combine the multiple security measures at one location, at one point. Please wait for 2 to 3 minutes. I have been disconnected. Let me join you. I think I can continue with this. Okay, are you able to see the screen? Tarni? Okay, okay. Okay, so the physical security, that is, we can go by providing the security in terms of, so in the first picture, you can see the password theft. And the second picture, you can see the some unknown people is coming and controlling over the company or office, anything. And in the third picture you can see the natural disasters caused. Okay, so in order to have a protection over all these, we need a physical security. Okay, and in case of physical security, it can have the attackers can be classified as two categories. Maybe the attackers from the two categories. One is from the outside the company, or the second one is from within the company itself. Okay, and what is the impact of an attack? So the attackers will be causing the system to fail its fail its running condition, and they'll be compromising with the password protected computers by removing a hard drive from the system to gain access for themselves. So the attackers will do such kinds of theft. Okay, so they can directly access the networks by adding or rearranging the connections. They can steal some physical objects from the systems. Okay, okay, so how to prevent from the outside attackers? So it can have the natural barriers. That is, if anyone approaching the company or any organization entry point, they can be prevented. Okay, so by some by providing the natural barriers at the gate of the organization or company or institution, anything else. Okay, and by providing fencing like type and constructions. Okay, and so that no one can unknown persons cannot be able to come inside the concern. Okay, and walls and ceiling constructions. Okay, in the high risk areas, and gate facilities. So that is gate facilities means you can have the checkpoints over the gate. So these are some of the basic prevention, so that you can go for protecting the attackers coming from the outside of the company. Okay, and add on to this some more points. You can also have the patrols. That is, patrols means police security or watchmen at the gate. So security checks can be needed, okay, in order to avoid the outside people coming into the organization or company. Okay, and doors and window locations and security devices used. Okay, so no more physical devices, that is computers and some other accessibilities should not be provided at the in front of the windows or doors, so that some intruders cannot be able to access those physical devices. Okay, we should be cautious in placing all the system devices in a secured locations. Okay, and reception areas, you can have the reception areas, and some provision of surveillance and vigilance by providing the CCTV camera, so that you can monitor the who are all coming inside the concern and who are all going outside, and you can have the entry checkpoints, and time in and time out timings can be noted for the outside peoples entering into the company. Okay, so and I can also have parking areas. Okay, so some exit points and entrance points. So all these you can prevent the outside attackers by providing all these such precautionary methods. Okay. That is, you can provide the physical security by providing the armed guards or watchmen or like that, good doors or a good way to keep out the attackers away from the organization or any company. Okay, and preventing the attackers from within the organization. So within the organization, there may be greedy employees among the employers. Okay, so we should be very careful among those who are working along with their colleagues. Okay, It is important to implement the physical access control program in a company. And okay. Okay, so let's say the guidelines for restricting the personal access. Okay, so we can go for creating the ID cards or badge programs that includes the employee's picture and possibly the color code specific areas of access. And okay, and the employees may be provided with the ID cards or ID badges. Okay, you can have the policy of questioning anyone who does not have a visible ID cards or batches. Okay, and I can also provide the escort and go for observing the overall entering into the company. Okay, and supervise the guest for the entire visit. Okay. Okay, and add some more points. Don't allow anyone that is for the person, maybe a salesperson or vendors, etc., to connect to the personal laptops to the networks. Something. So vendors or the salespersons will be coming into it so that they can also access the personal assets of the organization. So we should be very careful when allowing the such kind of persons, okay? And don't allow anyone to add the hardware or the software to the computers without any proper authorization of a particular person, okay? So watch out for the tailgaters. That is, these people wait for someone with access to enter a control area. Control area may be that is some provisions may be, some secured provisions may be provided for accessing the server rooms like that. Okay, so you should not, the company should not. Excuse me, wait for a second. Okay, so let me continue. Not allow any persons accessing the server room. Likewise, some provisions may be should be provided. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. So likewise, there are some guidelines to be provided for protecting the information access and the equipment access. So you should be very careful while placing the monitors, that is system and printers, away from the windows and areas where no unknown person can easily observe them, or easily they can go for taking all those such valuable assets of the organization. Okay, and we should be very careful, that is, there should not be, don't leave any documents attended at the fax machines or printers. Okay, and require all the users to log off and power down the workstations at the end of the workday. So while leaving the workstations or system, we have to go for maintaining the proper shutdown of the particular mission. And so add on to the points, it can provide the lockup portable equipments. That is laptops. If you're using the laptops, you have to go for maintaining the proper security. You have to provide some secured mechanisms to provide all these such kinds of devices, laptops, PDA, media, that is out of the sight in a safe storage place over the night. Okay, so you have to be very careful where it should be located. Likewise, so don't allow the removal of computers or storage media from the work area, okay, without ensuring that the person removing it has authorization or a valid reason. Okay, and provide locks for the locks or the cables to prevent the theft. Okay, and you can go for providing the lock computer cases also. You can see this. So the cables are being locked. Okay. Can also secure in by providing like locks. Okay. Okay. Any organization or company, the server room will be in a separate place, separate locations where no one is allowed to enter into it. Okay, so this hardware contains highly sensitive information and access privilege will be uh, um, will be provided in a more secured manner. Okay, the server room will be in a secured manner so that no one can access that server room in an easy manner. Okay, so only the administrator will have the full control over the server room. Okay, access to this server room also, and the room should have increased the security mechanisms to prevent the or to avoid the unauthorized entry. Okay, there should be a camera surveillance, personal surveillance on the entrance to ensure that security is being provided to the server room. Okay, so what are the issues in protecting the organization's assets? Okay, so issues may come from using the passwords, biometrics, sign in and sign out timings, wearable ID codes wherever the person without the ID card can be found as the unknown person, and regular review and revocation of access rights. Okay, and what are the preventive measures that could be adopted means that is it can have the fire alarms or extinguishers at several places in your company or organization. Okay, the biometric systems can be implemented. You can also deploy or you can install the IDS, that is intrusion detection system, wherever some intruder so it helps to find out the intruders getting into the systems. Okay, and flood detection system, that is now to detect any natural disasters like flood happens. Okay, and the next one is disastrous recovery. So these are all the preventive measures that can be taken into account to provide the physical security. Okay, and some more points, so that is control public access and inspection of incoming materials and outgoing materials from any organization, or security equipment maintenance. Okay, and can also have the permanent disposal of the unwanted information from the organization. Okay. So with this we'll move to the cloud computing or cloud security. So first we'll see about what is meant by cloud computing. So cloud computing is a model. So with this model, any user can access the cloud on an on-demand basis. Okay, that is, you can access the cloud in a request basis. Okay, so the user can go on access the networks or servers or storage accessibility and applications and services. So these are some of the computing resources. So that will be stored and provided to the end users with the on demand request basis. Okay, so that is called as cloud computing, which is a model which provides service to the end users on demand network access. Okay, so this cloud model is composed of 5 essential characteristics and 3 service models and flow deployment models. We see all these. Okay, so what is the cloud security means? It is all about maintaining the security of a data. So whatever the data stored on the cloud, so there should be a security should be provided for maintaining the security of data within the cloud itself, and the security should be provided within the between the end user and the cloud. Okay, and also cloud security is all about ensuring the integrity of the applications used to access the cloud and use its services. So this is what about the cloud security. So cloud computing is all about delivering or providing the computing services remotely over the internet. That is, the user will be accessing the computing services in a remote manner. That is called as cloud computing. Okay. Okay. So the as we have seen, cloud computing model promotes five essential characteristics. Okay. So the first characteristic is on-demand self-service. So that is, the user can be provided with the computing capabilities, such as you can go on use these servers. That is, server time will be provided to the users. Okay. And network storage. Okay, as needed automatically without requiring the human interaction with the networks, that is service provider. So without the intervention of the service provider, the whenever the users or need to use the cloud, that is on demand, the service will be provided from the cloud. Okay, that is on demand self service. Okay, they can go for accessing the server, and they can go for accessing the network storage capacity also. Okay. So coming on to the next characteristics, that is broad network access. That is, the user can access the network with the help of the mobile phones, laptops, and PDA. So using these devices, they can access the network. That is, they can access the cloud. Okay. And resource pooling means that is, the collection of resources, computing resources will be it's called the cloud. So whenever the user in request, they will be giving the request to the request for accessing the cloud. Okay. So the provider's computing resources are pooled to serve the multiple users or consumers using the multi-tenant model. So tenant means in a rental basis. Okay. So how far the user is going to access the cloud in a rent based. Okay. So with the different physical and virtual resources dynamically assigned. So the user will be assigned for a particular time period. They'll be assigned, or they'll be given some provisions to access the cloud. Okay. So example of resources includes the storage can be accessed, and processing can be accessed, and the memory of the memory which is being allocated for any informations can also be provided to the users, and network bandwidth and virtual machines. So all these such kinds of resources will be collected as a pool, so that the consumer can access all these in a very efficient manner and in a less cost manner. Okay, so they no need to go for uh, using the, or they can they no need to buy a server or to develop an infrastructure like that. Okay, so from the cloud, the user can access all these such kind of provisions. Okay, and rapid elasticity is one such kind of characteristic, that is, the capabilities can be rapidly provided or elastically provided. That is, the customer can be provided to the in accessing the resources in an unlimited manner, and can be purchased in any quantity at any time. So whenever they are needed, so at any time they can be go for accessing the resources. That is rapid elasticity. Okay. And measured service means the cloud system automatically control the resources and optimize the resources used by leveraging a meter capability at some level of abstractions. appropriate to the type of services like storage, how long they are using the storage capacity, how long the processing is going on at the cloud, how much bandwidth the user is going to utilize for their work. So likewise, the service is going to be measured, and based on the usage, they are going to be charged at a least cost manner. Okay. So the resource usage can be monitored, controlled, and they can be reported by providing the transparency for both the provider and the consumer to utilize the service. Okay. And coming on to the classification of cloud computing, it has been classified into two types. One is the service model, the other one is the deployment model. So coming on to the service model, it has been divided into three types. So one is IaaS, and that is infrastructure as a service. And the next one is platform as a service, that is PaaS. And third one is SaaS, that is software as a service. Okay. So these are three service model available, and coming on to the deployment model, the cloud has been divided into four types. So one is the private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, and community cloud. Okay. So the three cloud computing service models are IaaS, that is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So we'll see the software as a service. Okay. So software as a service is nothing but the provisions provided to the consumer or the user to use the applications, providers applications that can be run on the cloud infrastructure. So software as a service means you can go for developing any applications and you can run that particular application on a cloud infrastructure. That is called a software. Can these applications on the cloud infrastructure. Okay. So the applications can be accessible from the various client devices. The client may be a web browser. So using the web browser, the client can access the software or the applications developed. Okay. So coming on to the cloud platform as a service, the capability provided to the consumer is to deploy into the cloud infrastructure. Okay, that is the user can go for acquiring the applications with the help of applications created using the programming languages and tools. So the tools and the programming languages that is to create applications will be provided as a platform to the users. Okay. And infrastructure as a service, that is infrastructure, coming on to the term infrastructure means architecture. So the architecture will be provided to the user. Okay. That is the capability provided to the consumer is to provision the processing, storage, and networks and other fundamental computing resources where consumer is able to deploy and run the particular software, which can include the operating systems and applications. Okay. Okay. So the consumer will not have the control or the manage over the cloud infrastructure, but so the user won't have the control over the cloud infrastructure, but they have the control over the operating system, storage, and the deployed applications. Okay, and the networking components like firewalls, like that. Okay, so infrastructure means it is all about creating the architecture or providing the architecture to the user. So building any application architecture, that is that is the infrastructure as a service. Okay. So here you can see the service model, cloud service model. So software as a service means you will be provided how to present the applications to the users, the presentment, and application programming interfaces will be provided to the users for developing the softwares. Okay, and okay, so that is software as a service, and platform as a service means we'll be doing the integration process. Okay, so from various sources you might have collected the data, so all the integration process will be done with the help of this platform as a service, and middleware. And infrastructure as a service means you can go for you utilizing the interfaces, hardwares, abstraction layers, and the networks and connectivity facilities. So all these dealing with the about dealing with the infrastructure as a service. Okay, so here you can see the service model pyramid. Okay, first one is software as a service, that is SaaS, that is Google example for a software as a service. You can have the Google Apps, Microsoft Office. Okay, and for platform as a service, you can have the Google App Engine. Okay, and AWS, Elastic, Beanstalk, Microsoft Azure, Oracle Cloud Platform. And coming into the infrastructure as a service, can have the EC2, that is Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, Apache Cloud Stack, Google Compute Engine. Okay, so who are all the users who are using this all these service models, or software as a service will be fully used by the end users. Okay, and platform as a service will be used by the application developers. Okay, who will develop the applications. Okay, and infrastructure as a service who will be architectures, or the whole responsible for developing the architectures, developing the infrastructure. Okay, so here are some of the vendors who are listed here. The vendors for software as a service, they are Google, Lotus, IBM, NetSuite, Salesforce.com. And coming into the platform as a service, can have the Google App Engine, role-based, long jump, and Windows Azure, Force.com. And infrastructure as a service, we can have the VMware. So the infrastructure will be created and it will be given to the user. Okay. VMware is a simulation environment. Okay. And Rockspace, Joyent, Amazon Web Services. So these are some of the vendors, examples of vendors for the service models. So comparison of all these service models. So software as a service, the operating environment will be largely irrelevant. So example, CRM, ERP, email. Okay, and platform as a service, we can have the Windows, .NET, Linux applications of any choice of deployed. Okay, and J2EE infrastructure service, it includes the storage as a service offerings, and virtual platform will be created on which the required operating system, that is operating environment, and applications will be deployed. Okay, so okay, so system architecture is all dealt with the infrastructure as service platform on which software development will be carried out, and software as a service means the end user will be using that particular applications, that is software as a service. Okay, coming on to the deployment model, we are having 4 types of deployment model. One is the public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, and community cloud. Okay, and coming on to the public cloud means So most people will be imagine they refer to the cloud. Okay, so this is nothing but the cloud storage on which the all the computing resources can be accessed by the remotely. So any organization or any individual user can access the public cloud. Okay. So this public cloud has particularly security needs because it is outside the control of its users. Okay. So the data will be stored by the that is held by the third party and it is subject to reliability of the hardware. Okay. So private cloud means any organization they will be hold responsible for providing the private cloud. Okay. So this private cloud is a model of cloud computing in which the cloud is located behind the firewall, corporate firewall. Okay. So the data won't be shared with the outside world. Like it is not like a public cloud. Okay, all the informations will be in a secure manner. Only the organization will be utilizing or accessing the private cloud. Okay, hybrid cloud means it is the combination of accessing both the private cloud and the public cloud. Okay, that allows the organization to access the best of the both worlds. Okay. So coming on to the community cloud, somewhere between the private cloud and the public cloud. So the community cloud will share the storage and resources between the several organizations. So multiple organizations will be included in it in accessing this community cloud. So overall having the similar interest of accessing the similar type of datas or like accessing the cloud, they'll be accessing this community cloud. Okay. So coming on to the advantage and disadvantages of cloud computing. So the advantages are no cost on the infrastructure. Okay. So they'll be charged how much you are going to utilize it. So you can go for saving the cost in utilizing the computing resources. And reliability is provided and accessibility. Whenever you are in need, the user can go on giving the request on demand. They can give the request on demand. So the availability of the cloud will be immediately provided to the user. So accessibility is very easy and they can go for paying per use. So how long they are going to use the cloud, they will be paid. Okay. So they no need to go for administrative hazards. Okay. Management hazards. Okay. And coming on to the disadvantages of cloud computing, it requires good. There should be good internet speed with a good bandwidth. That will not be given sure to all other users. Okay. And they'll be limited control on the infrastructure and ongoing cost and security and restricted or limited flexibility also. So can have three A's coming on to the advantage point of view and three L's in the disadvantages point of view. Okay. So the advantages can be adaptable and accessible and affordable. Okay. So adaptable means the cloud customers are able to increase or decrease the resources. Whenever they are in need, they can go for adopting that particular computing resources. Okay. And accessible, they can go for accessing anytime, anywhere with a device and the internet connection. Okay. Affordable, the computing resources is a pay as you go model. That is payment is charged on the basis of your usage. Okay, it's more economical also. And coming on to the disadvantages, 3Ls is lack of security and privacy. That is, we let cloud providers will can there is a chance of handling your data and exposing every component of the cloud computing over the internet also. So security is main issue, and limited control. That is, since the cloud service providers own and manage the entire infrastructure, okay, and the cloud customers have the minimal controls. They will be provided with the minimal controls, okay. And lock-in, the third L is lock-in. It means that the vendors lock-in, the switching between the cloud service vendors can be very expensive. And these are the benefits of cloud computing, that is a smart resource provided. So the users are provided computing resources in a smart manner, and the workflow will be very transparent between the users of the cloud, okay. And better delivery time, that is whenever they are in need, they can access the cloud on a payment basis, okay. And providing the global infrastructure savings, they can no need to go for providing the infrastructure, so you can directly access from the infrastructure, can be accessed from the cloud itself. And these are the references for today's class. So with this, I'll wind up the class. Okay, tomorrow we'll start with a new lesson, that is 9th unit. So in that unit, all malwares are going to be dealt with. I think all the malwares types can be already discussed. So we can have a quick walkthrough about the malwares and can go with the malware analysis part. Okay. So with this, I'll wind up the session. Thank you for patient listening. Thank you, Tarani.